So we did our cultural biography on my friend named Emil Zetterquist, and a little backstory on how I know him. My best friend named Mitchell lives across the street from me in my hometown, and he's played hockey his whole life. And last year he played for a team in Wisconsin, and Emil also played for that team in Wisconsin. So that's how they met, and they became really good friends. And then um, in the summer, Mitchell came home, and I was home too. And then Emil, instead of going to Sweden, he stayed with Mitchell for about a month and a half. So that's when I got to know Emil and became friends with him.
If you don't mind starting, where are you from, and where did you grow up?
Yeah, I grew up in the suburbs of Stockholm, Sweden.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a pretty big suburb, 100,000 people.
And how long did you live there?
I moved away. What's it now? It's 2 years ago.
Okay.
Almost. I lived there for my whole life, and then I moved to Wisconsin last year for hockey.
Okay. So who makes up your family?
So my family's pretty big. I got 4 siblings.
Okay.
So I got an older sister, 2 younger sisters, and a younger brother, and then my parents, of course.
And is your family a big part of your life?
Yeah, I would say so. Like I spend so much time with them, and because we're so big, my family's so big. There's always someone home. So I feel like I'm very 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 close to my family.
That's good. Yeah. Do you see them a lot now that you're in the United States?
Not as much as I want to, and honestly, I think if you leave home and keep calling home too much, you don't really live where you are. So I try to call them. Not that much, just like a little bit every once in a while, and just check out on them.
All right. What were some of the common traditions or holidays that you and your family celebrated in Sweden?
So there's like Sweden's a Lutheran country, so you celebrate all of the Christian stuff, and then there's some special things we got. Like the first day of May, there's a big fire. It's called Valborg, and it's like you kind of welcome spring, and that's a thing. And then also we have a one that's called Midsummer. So, and Midsummer is probably the most special one for Sweden. Like that's a tradition that has been in Sweden for a long time. None of the other Scandinavian countries really celebrate it. It's just in Sweden.
Okay. Was religion a big part of your life growing up? In your family?
I think like Sweden is, if I'm correct, is probably the least religious country. Like the Scandinavian countries in general, the least religious countries in the world. And like I was baptized and I gone to church, and my aunt is like the head of the choir in the church and stuff like that, but. I wouldn't really say that it's been a big part of my life in any way. Like it's been there on the side, but it's not really shaped me.
Okay. And then, do politics play a part in your life at all?
I think the older you get, the more involved you get in that stuff. But yeah, like I remember for like in high school in the like middle of my high school years, I was thinking about politics and maybe like going into politics and stuff like that, but no, that's not. I've realized that that's not for me. So, but yeah, I definitely have my opinions and stuff though.
Yeah. Another question. So the drinking age, I know that's different in Sweden. Can you explain that?
Yeah. So when you turn 18, you are allowed to drink at bars and clubs.
Okay.
So you can go to a bar, you can have a beer, you can have a shot, no one will say anything, but you can't go buy your own alcohol from the store until you're 20.
Okay.
So I don't know why they've done it like that, but it seemed to work. So yeah, that's how it works.
Cool. And where do you live now?
Now I live in Canton, New York. It's like a small town, close to the Canadian border.
All right, so you said you miss your family and you're really close to them. So who do you live with now since your family's gone?
Yeah, I got a roommate. He's from Arizona. So Obviously, like it's a lot different life there, living in the desert compared to living in Sweden. So,
Right.
but we've got a great relationship, and honestly, it couldn't be a better match for a roommate.
Good. So you mentioned you're in New York. What do you? I know you play hockey, but do you want to explain that a little bit? Why
How
you're
I'm
here?
here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like I got interested in college hockey probably like 4 years ago. I was watching a couple videos, and a locker room, I think it was North Dakota's locker room, came up, and all that flashy stuff, and just a professionalist thing that's going on here in college sports. It just doesn't exist any other part of the world. So that's what I wanted to do. So that was the reason that I moved to Wisconsin last year to play juniors, and I had a few offers from the schools, and I had a really good relationship with the recruiters from this school. So I actually committed here before visiting, but
Okay.
I saw like a tour online, like with pictures and stuff, and I really got intrigued. And when I came up here last April, I thought like, yeah, that this is the right choice. Like it's a really nice place, and I love it here.
Good. So when you got here, did it take you a while to adjust, or was it pretty?
Like
I know you
at the
said
school-
wasn't
yeah,
too bad.
no, but like at the school here, they have there's a lot of foreigners. So as a foreigner, you have to arrive a week before everyone else. So you're here and just hanging out with other people from other countries. So you don't just get launched into this world where you don't know anything, and that they brief you with everything that's going on, and they really prepare you well. And then, of course, being in a hockey team like helps getting into like the whole college atmosphere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, so it wasn't that hard to adjust, really. It just the school made it very easy.
That's good. Was there like any culture shock when you got here? I know you said the first part was kind of difficult.
Culture shock. Not that I can think of.
No.
Yeah, actually, the practice times here,
Mm-hmm.
that was a big culture shock for me. You came in, I've never practiced in my life before 8 a.m. And then all of a sudden I come here and we work out at 6 a.m. every morning. And it was just something that was so new to me. And I'd never done it in my life before. And it took a long time for me to get adjusted to waking up at like 5:15 in the morning. Like it's just doesn't happen back home.
Right. Cool. What are the biggest differences you've noticed coming to America that
That's,
differ from Sweden?
Yeah, it's a very hard question. It's I've been thinking about this a lot, but
Mhm.
like obviously the food is a little bit different. Like it's kind of the same, but it's not really the same.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a bunch of cultural differences, and people are definitely more open, and they're easier to talk to here, I would say.
Yeah, like, okay, so when you, like, greet a stranger, is
Yeah,
there anything
exactly.
different?
No, like you like Swedes don't really. That's not what we're comfortable with. So that's something I've noticed. Like especially like when you're in elevators and stuff. Like
Mhm.
people will start a conversation with you, and like honestly, I like it. Like it's fun, and it's taught me a lot.
Mhm.
About just conversating with random people.
Yeah, good. Did you have to cross any language barriers when you got here?
Yeah, there's like the grammar and stuff and translations that I think are proper just are not, and like that's just something you have to learn throughout time. You pick up on certain stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
like it goes by so fast. You get used to the language, and it just flows fluently.
Yeah, because you said you learned English in elementary school there, right?
Yeah, you start early. You start in first grade with simple English, and like I would say that if you go to like an urban area in Sweden, you could talk to anyone, and they would understand you if you speak English.
Okay.
They might not be able to speak back perfectly, but they'll definitely understand everything you say.
Gotcha. Was it hard learning English in school, or not too
No,
bad?
English is so easy to learn based on the fact that it's everywhere. Like
Okay.
it's in movies, it's in songs, it's on the internet, and you just get so much exposure to it that like my I think when I was probably around 11 when I started like actually understanding everything. Like
Okay.
like of course not the hard words and stuff, but I could understand like the concepts and everything like that.
Mm-hmm. Were there any stereotypes that you noticed when you got here? Like, did anyone
Like
stereotype you at all?
um like maybe like you always have that label on you,
Mm-hmm.
so people always watch a little closer how like like the rolled up jeans and the stuff like that, and they always point that out. But other than that, I wouldn't say there's a lot of them. Like Americans and Europeans are pretty close, so
Okay.
uh, I don't think there's too much.
Yeah. Are there any new traditions when you came to the U.S. compared to Sweden?
Not so much. I wouldn't say they weren't too hard to like adjust to this, but no, it wasn't really any new traditions. Like of course, the whole college thing is different.
Yeah.
Uh, but like other than that, no, not really.
Are there any new foods that you encountered, like that you really like that stand out?
Like we had our dining hall is not the best, but like I don't know, when I first arrived here this year, I flew into Boston.
Mm-hmm.
I was there for a week, and I had my first clam chowder soup. And
How's that?
I fell in love with that. I love chowder soup now. So, yeah, I think that's probably on the top of my list of American foods.
Okay. Did you bring over any cultural tendencies?
Not really. I would say. No. No,
Okay.
I've adapted pretty much
Mm-hmm.
to the American life here.
Good. Perfect. So back to hockey. You said, when did you start playing hockey?
If I remember it correctly, I was probably 6 years old.
Okay.
It was in a small organization. Like it was in my suburb. So I don't even know how I got into that, but yeah.
Yeah. And then compared to the Sweden, is like the speed of it any different? Are there any differences between?
Yeah, of course. There's the difference in size. I think that kind of shapes the game. So there's not nearly the same amount of space like on the ice. So
Oh, so the rink is smaller?
yeah, the
Okay.
rink it's like considerably smaller. So
Interesting.
especially for like Swedish players that I know that come here, like not goalies like me, but players have just that's what they pointed out. Like you don't have as much time with the puck, so you have to just get it and then like give it away,
Okay.
and that kind of thing. Of course, like that thing brings up the speed of the whole game.
Yeah.
Like when you play like that.
Mm-hmm. And is the locker room atmosphere any different here?
I think I honestly have a theory that hockey players across the world are all the same.
Yeah.
It's the same everywhere I go. Like I've been playing hockey in Norway. I've been in Finland. I've been in Sweden. Now in America, and of course we have some Canadians here too. And it's all the same.
Yeah. That's cool. How would you say hockey's influenced you?
I've learned how to adapt to new situations.
Mm-hmm.
So teams, like you have all your friends in there. You play for years with your teammates, and then all of a sudden you leave and you don't see those players and those friends anymore, and you have to adjust to this new place that you're coming to. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's something that I wasn't good at before, and just in recent years, just like coming into North America, like going into college, stuff like that, I've gotten really good at just adjusting to new situations and making new friends. So that's probably the biggest part that hockey's given me.
And besides hockey, what other hobbies do you have?
I love to play video games. Spend more time than I want to admit doing that. But and then I picked up the guitar a couple of years ago. So that's my main two hobbies that I do outside of school here at the university.
So another question: Would you ever move back to Sweden?
Yeah, I think in the back of my head, I still really can't see me living in America, like actually living, starting a family, and just settle down in America. I still have like this thought back in my head that I'm eventually gonna move back.
Okay.
But of course, like hockey's probably gonna shape where I go. So we'll see what happens.
Are there any things in Sweden that you miss that aren't in the U.S.?
Of course, I miss my family, my friends.
Yeah.
But I miss the big city. I miss Stockholm. It's just like I have a lot. Like I have a great relationship with that city, and I just love it.
Mm-hmm.
And coming home is always nice. Like just because like it's home. But like I wouldn't say that I have something like that I miss more than that. No.
Gotcha. All right, well, I think that's it. Good luck to you in your hockey journey.
Oh,
thank
perfect.
you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.